Hi sweeties, thank you all so much for following my backup channel. And if you have not subscribed to my backup channel, what are you waiting for? The link is pinned in the comment section. Click on it. It's definitely going to take you to my backup channel. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smack that subscribe button, turn on the notification so you get notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all, and I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for always coming back to watch my video, subscribing, and always coming through for your goal. You all are super awesome. So today we'll be checking out something that I actually talked about on my backup channel, but this is actually very important because right now it is a movement, and it's about a black boy who was sentenced to 30 years for friend's death. Right? He did not commit any murder. A cop shot his friend right in front of him, and he is the one being charged for a murder he did not commit. I mean, this thing is all over social media, and I am also calling on all content creators. If you are a content creator, please kindly put out this on your platform, because this is a big movement. All we want is for Lakeith to get justice and return back home. A lot of people, like some white people, have taken this like to themselves because they want him really out, and they are trying and doing all they can to see how possible this will be. Please stay close to the screen. Let me roll the clip and we'll come back to talk about this. So let's.
What I just witnessed was pure evil. What I just witnessed was anything but fucking justice. Elmore County Judge Sibley Reynolds just sentenced Lakeith Smith to 30 years. Officer Renfro, the one who killed Adante Washington, is charged with nothing. He was just doing his job. Lakeith Smith, who was the youngest of the co-defendants, the least culpable of the co-defendants. Lakeith Smith, who did not attack anyone. Lakeith Smith, who did not shoot anyone. Lakeith Smith, who was 15 years old. Lakeith Smith, who since being incarcerated in the highest level maximum security prison in Alabama, has been a model prisoner. He's obtained his GED. He's participating in programs. He's receiving therapy and counseling. Everyone at the prison and everyone outside the prison that interacts with Lakeith says the same thing, that he is an upstanding human being who deserves to come home, time served for the breaking and entering, the actual crime he committed, and be with his family. It was heart-wrenching sitting in that courtroom today, watching that judge sentence him to 30 years in front of his mother, in front of his grandparents, in front of the rest of his family and his community. His original 65-year sentence was ruled unconstitutional, and today was a resentencing where he could have been sent home, time served. And the family had hope that C.J. Robinson, the district attorney, who was back then the prosecutor on the original case that showed up today at the resentencing, wasn't going to object to what the defense was offering, because he agreed that Lakeith's attorney at the original trial did not represent him properly. The district attorney agrees with that, but yet he stood in that courtroom today and disagreed with the defense's recommendation of time served. And get this, the sentence that the judge did give Lakeith was higher than what the state recommended. Lakeith Smith is now on a 30-year sentence, mostly in part because of felony murder. This is fucking gross. If you call that justice in this country, you can fucking keep it. The gloves are coming off. My goal going forward will be to make Lakeith Smith's name a household name. You will know his story. You will know his name. There will be a call to action. So stand by. His mother and whole family is right outside that door right now, and I will be sitting with them tonight, and I will be finding out what call to action we need to take. And I will be putting that on every platform that I have influence over. And we're going to need every single person that has compassion and empathy and understanding for fellow human beings in their heart to help us help this family right this wrong. It is well fucking past time to bring Lakeith home. And what happened today in the courtroom here in Montgomery, Alabama is a fucking disgrace and a spit in the face to anything you could ever call justice. In addition, felony murder has no place in a fucking civil society to begin with. And if you don't know what felony murder is, look it up. If you thought we were stopping, you're wrong. Justice for Lakeith Smith.
Yes, you all can see this is a very big movement. It's all over TikTok. People are sharing it, and this man right here is doing all he can to see how they can, like, make this possible. And that, with that being said, stay go to the screen. There is something I need you to also see, because something really happened that got people very upset. Let's get into it straight up. Here we go.
28 years old. He was on drugs. He had been previously in trouble for sexually assaulting a minor. So now he's free from that. He's on drugs. He steals a car. The police get behind him. He doesn't pull over. He goes on a high-speed pursuit chase. He crashes into a tree. The car catches on fire. His girlfriend is in the passenger seat. She dies in the fire.
This is who he is talking about. This is Wesley Phelps. He's 28 years old. He was on drugs. He had priors for burglary and assaulting a minor. He led police on a high-speed chase, crashed his car, and his girlfriend died. And Judge Sibley Reynolds gave him 3 years. But on the same day that Judge Sibley Reynolds gave him 3 years, he gave Lakeith Smith 65 years. Lakeith is 15 years old. Him and some other kids were breaking into an unoccupied dwelling. The cops showed up. The kids ran. The cop shot Adante Washington, which is Lakeith Smith's best friend, shot Adante in the back 3 times. Due to Alabama's felony murder law, Lakeith Smith was sentenced to 65 years for the murder of Adante, even though he didn't hold the weapon or shoot anybody. This happened on the same day, in the same court, by the same judge. 28-year-old who's actually responsible for somebody dying. 15-year-old who's actually not responsible for anybody dying. 3 years, 65 years. If you can't see the problem here, you're choosing not to see the problem here. Number 1, this is clearly racism. Number 2, felony murder is a bullshit law. Number 3, go to justiceforlakeithsmith.com, see the facts of the case, learn Lakeith's story, sign the petition, and most importantly, please listen to me. Please listen to me. Most importantly, get the word out. We need every content creator, big, small, and in between, to make a video and put the story of Lakeith Smith in the home of every American. Everybody needs to know this story. An injustice is currently in progress in Montgomery, Alabama. Lakeith has been locked up for 8 years. They didn't even try him until he was 18. He spent 3 years in jail waiting on a trial. Bring Lakeith home. We need you to share his story. That's it. Just share his story. Please share Lakeith's story.
This is from inside the courtroom yesterday when Lakeith Smith had a resentencing hearing because his trial attorney was ineffective and his constitutional rights were violated at his original case. The Judge Sibley Reynolds was the original judge and the judge for this resentencing hearing. And let me tell you, there was no compassion, no humanity, and no justice. As we know, that Judge Sibley Reynolds originally gave Lakeith Smith a 65-year sentence, a sentence that Lakeith would be expected to die in that jail because a cop killed his friend. Rest in peace to the child, Adante Washington, who was tragically killed by the police, Officer Renfro, when he shot Adante in the back. They gave Lakeith Smith a 65-year sentence because the cops killed this kid. This is Adante's father, Andre Washington, who testified yesterday in front of Judge Sibley Reynolds and said that he does not think Lakeith should spend any more time in prison. Lakeith right now is in a maximum security prison. He's been in one since he's 15 years old. What was the crime that was committed? It was kids going into unoccupied homes to steal video games. And because the cops unjustly killed one of those boys, they have given Lakeith Smith a life sentence. Every day is Lakeith Smith Day until he comes home. The coalition is growing. Say his name, Lakeith Smith. Share his story.
Lakeith Smith, who was 15 years old at the time of his crime, was sentenced to 30 years in Alabama State Prison for the death of his friend, for a murder of his friend in which he did not commit. Lakeith Smith and his friends burglarized some houses in Alabama when police were dispatched to the scene of the crime. Ultimately, his friend, 16-year-old Adante Washington, was shot and killed while fleeing the police in the back of the neck and the back of the shoulder. Yet, 15-year-old Lakeith Smith was charged with the murder. Even though he was unarmed, he was 15, the least culpable. All he did was break into a house. He had no weapon. He had no intentions of hurting anyone. Many of you may ask, how does this even happen? He didn't have a weapon. The cop was the one that shot his friend. It wasn't him. How could something like this happen? Well, it's because of a law called felony murder. Felony murder is an inherently racist statute that is weaponized against disenfranchised black males. This statute allows officers to charge a person with murder during the commission of a felony if it results in death. It doesn't matter the intention. It doesn't matter who pulled the trigger. If somebody ends up dying, they get charged with the felony murder. This is a perfect example of systemic racism. And people ask me all the time, what's the difference between systemic and systematic racism? To me, systematic is intentional. It's a pragmatic step-by-step approach that leads to an end result. Systemic just means it's of the system. It doesn't have to be intentional. It's just what happens. There are many well-intentioned, implicitly biased, unconsciously racist people that apply these laws in our system today that disproportionately impact the disenfranchised black male in our communities. Did you know that almost 80% of the felony murder charges in the United States are black males? 13% of the population, really 6.5% of the population, yet 80% of the felony murder charges. These are cases that people are charged with murder in which they did not pull the trigger. They were not directly responsible for the death of the person in the crime. Yet we still somehow have this law on our books. When it's 2023 and we still have racist laws, yes, I said racist laws because they're disproportionately impacting a certain group of people, and we're unwilling to investigate, reevaluate these laws, and make a change to our system, what does it say about us as a people and as a nation? If you're okay with Lakeith Smith being sentenced to 30 years in prison for a murder in which he did not commit, when he had no intentions, he was 15 years old, of hurting anybody, and you're okay with that, you need a heart check. We need to check out.
All right, this is all we have from the stitches, and I don't even want to talk about the judge. The only thing I want to talk about is Lakeith, and I am pleading with you, please, if you can put this out on your platform. If you have a platform, please put this out. This boy got to go back to his family. Oh my God. I am still trying not to talk about the judge. I am trying so hard not to talk about the judge. And please, 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 kindly share this video. You never can tell who might be of great help or something. We want this boy back home. Yeah, this is the plan, and this is what we are working towards. All right. Thank you all so much for the support. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.